So from this lesson, we are going to start learning all of these options here, right? In this lesson, we are going to look at transform orientations, this part, yeah, of these options. Remember, I'm in object mode. I'm not in edit mode anymore because I'm not going to model or change this this object. So what does this global mean? What does it mean? So currently, when I move it along these axes, gy, yeah, gx, this is world coordinate system and it never changes. Yeah, the red is always x and y, yeah. These directions don't change, and because this is global axis. And if I, for example, rotate this object, yeah, or scale it, no matter what, if I gx it, it moves along x-axis, gy along y-axis. Let's undo these changes, Alt-S and Alt-R. But we have a few options here, different coordinate systems, different orientation options, right? The next one is, for example, local. It means the object now moves or rotates around its own local axis. It means objects also have their own axis, like we people have two arms, right? Right arm and left arm. But the world, for example, west, east, and south, north, they don't change. But our left side and right side depends on where we're looking at, right? If we turn around, our left side and right side change too, because it depends on where we look at. Okay, but north, south, east, and west do not change, yeah, no matter how long we turn around, right? So it is the same concept here. For example, no matter where you turn, the world axis don't change, and if you are here in global orientation form, you do gx, and if you want to move this object along x-axis, it moves along world or global x-axis. So what local does is, whenever you move, you rotate, yeah, the object's own axis changes. When you create your object, when you create it the first time, its axes are the same as a global axis. So in the beginning, for example, when you first create your object, it has the same axis as global axis. So no matter if you change to local axis and you want to move along x, gx, it is the same as global axis. But when you turn this around, yeah, now it changes. Look, gx, now it moves along its own x-axis. So, one more thing, we can actually visualize the object's own axis by coming here and come to viewport display and turn on axis. And let's go into wireframe mode. And now you can see object's own local axis. Yeah, for example, its own x-axis is this gx, and it moves around its own x-axis. Along its own x-axis, because we are in local orientations. If we go back to global and gx, it moves along global x-axis. So yeah, I think you understand the difference between them. The next one is normal. Normal is mainly used in edit mode. You go into edit mode, and you know what normal is because we talked about that. For example, the faces normal is where this face is pointing at, where this face is looking at. So depending on this normal orientation, it changes. For example, now when we're in global, we can move it, for example, gy, and it moves along y-axis, gx, and it moves along x-axis. Or in local, let's move to local, and gx, local x, gy, local y. But when it's in normal, if you want to visualize it, you can turn on this and you can see now the top is the x-axis and this direction is y-axis and the normal direction is z-axis. Okay, now for example, if you cannot see it, you cannot tell. For example, in local, gz goes up and down, but in normal. GZ goes along the normal direction, as you can see, because Z-axis in normal orientation is this normal direction, right? And X is from top to bottom. So it changes, right? So this is why you might want to use normal in some place. We don't use gimbal. It sometimes, I think it's used when you want to troubleshoot some rotation problems. But you can learn more about gimbal rotation, gimbal lock, and stuff like that on the internet. But trust me, we will never use it. So view is something interesting. View depends on from what angle you are looking at the scene, and view directions never change. For example, whenever you from whatever angle you look at the screen, the top of the screen is y-axis and of your computer screen. Remember, we are talking about the computer screen, not the scene, not anything, not viewport, your computer screen. Yeah, we're talking about this screen. The top of the screen, and from top to bottom, it's y-axis. This is x-axis, and it always stays the same no matter how you turn, right? And where is the z-axis? Z-axis is not seen here because it's directly pointing at you. So GZ, and you can see it's coming towards you and away from you. Yeah, this is view. And cursor is can be useful from time to time, but personally I never use it. What it does is this. Look, cursor itself has its own orientation. It also turns around. Yeah? It has its own axis. Let me put the cursor in a different place, and you can, if you turn around, you can see the cursor has dimension. It has axis. And you can actually turn the cursor around, like open this 3D cursor menu, and you can see there is rotation options here. And you can rotate, and you can see the cursor is rotating. And you can rotate your object depending on cursor orientations. Yeah. Unfortunately, we cannot see the cursor orientations by looking at the cursor, but we can turn this on and look at that. This is cursor orientation. So this is the z-axis, depending on the according to cursor position. This is y, and this is x. For whatever reason you might need to use it, it's here, and you can use that.